I'm worried this video is dangerous. When I was writing the script, I was conflicted. Should I praise a game for turning itself around when it shouldn't have been going in the wrong way to begin with? Am I encouraging games as a service by celebrating a redemption? I'm still not sure, but because of how close this franchise is to my heart, I wanted to tell the story of how Battlefront 2 did the impossible and redeemed itself. For those of you who don't know, Battlefront 2 had one of the worst launches in video game history. Sure, it's loved by the community now, but how did we get here? What happened? It started at E3 2017 at the EA Play event. It had been 2 years since DICE released the first Battlefront reboot, and it was well received overall, but fans felt like a lot was still missing. Then the trailer for Battlefront 2 came out, and it had the entire internet talking. Everyone was excited, even people who weren't fans of Star Wars wanted to see what this game had in store. It seemed to fix everything that fans felt was wrong with the first game, and it had been such a long time since a truly great Star Wars game. Things were really looking good, and it seemed from everything we'd been shown, there was no way it could fail. And then it did, in just the first day of early access. The progression system in the game was tied to loot boxes. You would get power-ups and upgrades at random. It was a bad system. Personally, I hate loot boxes. I prefer the days where you would have to earn things by completing certain challenges. What made it go from bad to worse was that you could spend real money to unlock these loot boxes. It was blatant pay to win. If you spend more money, you would get things that make you more powerful. Things like stronger grenades, better resistance, and a faster recharge. The community was outraged, and they took to every gaming forum and media outlet. Someone even calculated that it would take 4,528 hours to unlock everything in the game, or a whopping $2,100. The Battlefront 2 subreddit was understandably pissed, especially this user, MBM Maverick, who posted that he was upset because he bought the $80 edition of the game and couldn't even play as Darth Vader. Then came the now infamous Reddit comment. An EA community team member responded with, "The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment." This quickly became the most downvoted comment on Reddit, with over 680,000 downvotes. After this, they removed the microtransaction system, but the damage was done. Star Wars Battlefront 2 had a ruined reputation of greediness. And that was just in early access. The controversy, along with a lackluster campaign, disappointing amount of content, and low review scores made any chance this game had disappear. And just when it seemed like it couldn't get any worse, EA reduced the size of the team that was working on the game. Fans had a laundry list of features, fixes, and ideas they wanted implemented into Battlefront, and with the reduced dev team, it didn't look like that was going to happen. The first pre-planned DLC did come out on time to coincide with the theatrical release of Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It included a new, larger scale map that fans did enjoy, and 2 new heroes to play as, Finn and Phasma. These weren't exactly bad characters, but not exactly fan favorites either. After this, nothing came out for 6 months besides small bug fixes and tweaks. Now 6 months later, another movie, Solo, a Star Wars story, was about to release. With it came another content update. This time we got 1 small scale map and 1 new game mode. No new heroes, just skins for pre-existing ones. It had the same problem as the last update. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't what the game needed. Fans felt like they weren't being listened to, and people were starting to lose hope that Battlefront could ever turn itself around. As another summer came, that meant another E3. People didn't know what to expect, if anything, from Battlefront 2. Some even assumed they wouldn't bring the game up, but they did, and they said all the right things. They acknowledged that they messed up the launch, and that they were ready to fix things. They were implementing a new progression system that was focused on cosmetics, new modes, and plenty of other quality of life updates. But there was more than just that.
To confirm that Battlefront 2 this year will be going deep into the Clone Wars. It's only fitting that we begin on the planet Geonosis, featuring multiple levels, including the largest level we have ever built for Battlefront. So let's talk about the heroes and villains. First, let me introduce the most powerful droid, the leader of the most powerful droid army in the galaxy, General Grievous. And yes, he will be going up against my own personal favorite, Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi.
On Halloween 2018, General Grievous was a playable hero, and things were starting to look up for Battlefront. He was a little glitchy at first, but they fixed that, and this was the start of a new era for the game. A month after Grievous came out, we got the largest Battlefront 2 map, Geonosis, and Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. The cherry on top was that he was voiced by the same man who voiced him in the Clone Wars TV show, James Arnold Taylor, a fan favorite in the community. People started to get interested in the game again. Fans that originally refunded it were coming back to see what changed. And in early 2019, Anakin Skywalker and Count Dooku released, and the population started to skyrocket. There were more people playing the game now than at launch. I've never heard of that happening, but the reputation was starting to change, and even people who weren't Star Wars fans were starting to pick up the game. Things just got better when they came out with a new game mode, Capital Supremacy, a tug-of-war-like game mode where you fight for command posts on the ground and battle the losing team on their ship. With this inclusion and all of the Clone Wars content, it started to feel like a perfect mix of classic and modern Battlefront. They even started including highly requested fan ideas like droidicas, clone commandos, and another large-scale map on Felucia. This was a brand new Battlefront, and the fans finally felt like they'd been listened to. As 2019 came to a close, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker released, and we received a new map and 2 new heroes, BB-8 and BB-9E. It's a case of, I didn't ask for this, but I'm glad it's here. Right after this, DICE also announced the Battlefront 2 Celebration Edition. This was a soft relaunch. It gave you the game and every cosmetic. It was $40 if you didn't have the game, and only $25 if you did. DICE knew they had to be consumer friendly though, so you still have the option to buy the original game, which is often on sale for only $12. Any way you want to play Battlefront, they made it a good deal. And that brings us to the present. We recently received the Battle on Scarif update, with one of the best maps from Battlefront 1, Scarif from the movie Rogue One. Along with that, we got a few highly requested hero skins, and then it was announced that the Battle on Scarif was going to be the final update to Battlefront 2, and the game would no longer be worked on. It's been a long 2.5 years for Battlefront fans. The game has been through hell and back, but with so much dedication, the team over at DICE has done an amazing job to show they can make a great Star Wars game. You can tell that they're fans of the franchise themselves, and they wanted to make the best Star Wars game they could. As a Star Wars fan, Battlefront 2 started as a worst nightmare, but redeemed itself and became one of the greatest Star Wars experiences out there.